I was going like, well, what am I gonna do? And so I decided, and instead of complaining that I would just get creative, I think this whole experience with my husband being in TDJC is we're so limited on how we can express love and stuff. So I try to think of what I can do instead of what I can't do. And it makes it a little bit better, but they're making it really hard on us. So I wanted to start out actually with talking, because the whole issue seems to have come down to paper, is what I understand, and that may change, because at first it was no color, but it seems to be paper. So I'm a paper freak. I'm a print designer and a watercolor artist, so I figured out I'm either designing for paper or painting on it. So I'm a paper freak. Don't take me to a paper store. It's like a fabric store for some people. But, so I'm going to pass this around. So I want you to feel the paper and stuff. On the top sheet is what they want us to send in. Okay, it's 20-pound paper. The way they grade paper, and it's not 500 sheets of this. It's 500 big sheets of this before they're cut. 500 sheets of this paper weighs 20 pounds. And that's what they're talking about. In your packet, I gave you some, what I use is drawing paper. It's actually pressed paper for letters, but it's 80 pounds. And when you're gonna create art, if you go buy like a sketchbook or something like that, it's gonna be about this weight. And you want that when you're creating things because you don't want the eraser to tear a hole in it. You don't want it to rip, you don't want it to bleed through. Another thing that kind of, when I decided what I wanted to do, some people talked about like taking a card and Xeroxing it and sending it in. And so I kind of, like I took my shamrock cards that I had made, and I came up with a line up here when I put it down on my copier, and that's because the paper's thick. So I thought, oh, I can make some stationery by putting a card down. So then I did one with this, but I cut it off. I thought I could just lay this down on my copier, and I still got a line. So some of them didn't do that. I had no lines on this. This was another idea of like, if you do rubber stamping, you could do some rubber stamping and put it down. I still had a line. But I was also thinking if maybe some of our stuff is imperfect, that they'll know that we made it and they won't dig it. So what I did is I went to Hobby Lobby, I went to Michael's, I didn't get to Joann's, but they all have, what do you call this, scrapbooking paper. So what I did is I took scrapbooking paper and made my own stationery. So this is on 20-pound paper. I got these on sale. They were like 25 cents a piece, and I cut them up, and I gave you all samples of them. I thought this maybe was our workaround.
Do you attach that to the, or you just Photoshop?
What I did is I laid it down on my copier. I laid it down on my scanner. Then I laid it, then I just scanned it and the paper came out. So, and I'm going to talk about costs of doing things in a bit. When you're getting used to where to lay stuff on your scanner, do it in black and white first, because that all adds up as you go.
I do have a question.
Just use Photoshop.
On, let's say we're writing letters on plain white 20-pound paper, and it goes into 2 or 3 sheets.
You should be able to mail that.
Okay, so you could actually make a card with a smaller piece inside that has, you know how the card, you open up the card with a smaller piece of paper inside, you could do a colored piece inside to make it look kind of like that? Just wondering.
Kind of how I'm thinking is, and it's kind of new if you're into stationery and stuff, a lot of wedding cards and stuff are what you call flats. So instead of worrying about stuff, it's more like a postcard. Instead of worrying about like things folding all over, just make a flat card. And really, actually, the shamrock we're doing would be a flat card. It's going to take up half the paper, and they could fold it over behind if they wanted to, and you could write on the inside. But it would just, you could have a letter on the top and a design at the bottom. I made some more with shamrocks. I tried different things like at the top and at the bottom, so it's really pretty, and I think that's the whole Then I also found some stickers that had the, cause I don't do calligraphy really well. It'd be awesome if I did. And what I did was, I put it on the paper. I rubbed it on the paper, this is the white one. And then I put, my border down and copied it and stuff. So I thought it turned out really good. I'm afraid they'll flag it and say it's stationary.
But it's not colored paper.
As long
And
as
it's
it's on that
Yeah,
white
so
paper.
hopefully-
We'll have
But this just
try it.
shows you can make something pretty
Right.
decent.
I'm wondering how they're gonna be able to tell the difference in 20 and 24-pound paper and how frustrated the mailers are gonna get, cause it's really
I
feeling
don't
it.
know.
I mean, what do they
Barely.
You
Like
can
$20
barely-
worth of quarters versus $28 worth of quarters.
Yeah, I mean, how are they-
No.
I'm just curious how.
Push it, push it, push it.
It's a lot of time.
So another thing I found, if you like the watercolor background, but you don't wanna invest in watercolors and stuff, you can buy some stationery and do the doodles on top of it.
Continue.
I'm gonna introduce the first, what we're gonna work on tonight. And it goes by a lot of names, it's Zen Doodles, I think that's, registered trademark, you call it anyway. But it's ink doodles, and there's no wrong way to do it. And there's all different ways, and I have a book up here, you can get really fancy if you're, really get into it. I suggest you get a book or take a class. Excuse me. But I tried to simplify it. I came up with the word hope, and you have a sheet with hope on it. Okay, and you can, and you also have, this is a reference sheet. And the bottom part is what I'm referring to. These are texture boxes for Zen Doodles. I just picked some out, you can find a zillion of them on Pinterest. You can find a zillion ink drawing ideas and stuff. So I went ahead, instead of having you draw out the word hope and ink it out, you have it on your sheet. You can choose to either, I like to give people choices, take your, some of these textures or make your textures up. You can either fill in the word hope with your textures, or you can do it around.
Pretty.
Okay, I did these real fast, and I'm not real happy with them. There is like a learning curve in doing this. You might do it and not be happy with it. I usually do mine twice. I do them fast, and I'll decide, oh, I really like this part, so I'll keep that. I may change this part. I may decide my sunflower wasn't a good idea and totally redo that, and I'll do it over. Okay, like if you do your hope and you're not happy with it, and you, I have extra to trace things. Like if I'm doing this and I don't like it and I don't have another one printed out, you would take another sheet of paper, and I have a coffee table that's glass. I put it down on my coffee table and put a flashlight underneath it, and that's my light table. But the best thing, the easiest thing, if it's daylight, you just put it up against the window. In fact, you can kind of see it up against this light. You trace it lightly with a pencil. You don't want to do it really dark and stuff, because, and you can do, if you're figuring out what you're doing around it, you can use pencil, do it really lightly. After you ink, and I have some of these erasers, they're soft erasers, and they'll get the pencil up, they won't tear your paper, and so you can do whatever you want to, plan your stuff in pencil. Does anyone have any questions about this? Because you're just gonna take your hope, you're gonna decide inside or outside. And if you don't know what to do, think about, because I doodle in meetings, there's stuff I doodle over and over again. If you doodle in meetings, just do your meeting doodle in your thing, because you're used to that. You can use all different kind of pens. I brought the simplest ones. If you want a thick line, just the regular Sharpie and stuff. What I did these with are just the fine Sharpie. I had an art student that used nothing but these Pilot, I think they're G2s,
I like that.
and they're like gel pens.
Yep.
So, I'm gonna pass those around, and that's what you use. But you can use, Repetograph pens, anything that's black, too. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the cost of copies. And I think it's important to me because I just don't send to my husband. I know it's important to you guys because you send them to a lot of people. So, I have like a Canon copier. It costs about $100. And I wanted to, do you guys have, what kind of access do you have? Do you have a copier, or do you have to go to Kinko's or someplace like that? Where you're doing? Does everyone have
We
a
have-
copier?
I just have a black and
Way
white
too many.
over here.
We have a copier home color in black and white, but I go to Office Depot because I have a special card that the manager, who's a member of our church, gives me a really good deal on copies.
There's other reasons to go to Office Depot. So, okay, I have a Canon copier. It's fairly nice. It costs me about $100. The ink cartridges, if I get the black and the white, is $52. It's $30 for the color and $20 for the black. And because I sell prints and stuff, I know how many things I can get out of my cartridge. So when I do a color copy, it's about 75 cents a copy. And then when I do black and white, it's about 30 cents a copy. Should I decide to leave my home and go out shopping, I could go, I'll put them all on here. Office Depot, Staples, and Kinko's. Office Depot is the cheapest. It's 13 cents for black and white and 49 cents for color. Okay, and I can tell you Staples is 17 and 58, and Kinko's is 25 and 69. So if you don't want to use your copier toner ink at home, and you're doing a lot of copies, it would probably be best to go to Office Depot, and you can get the membership thing too and get a little bit of discount.
Let me do a quick commercial for HP Instant Ink.
Yes.
If you have a wireless printer and an HP printer, go online and look at the deal for HP Instant Ink. You sign up for a certain number of copies per month, and they don't care if it's black and white or color, and they will send you your ink before you run out. And it's very reasonable. I've been using them for about 3 years now. It is wonderful.
Do you have access to a scanner, and do you know how to use it? Okay. Because a lot of this I did on my scanner, but you could also go to Office Depot or wherever and do it on theirs. Okay, and I was also wondering, because I'm a designer and I use like Adobe products. I know that Becky you were using PowerPoint to do something. What kind of programs do you have that you would do any kind of graphics or?
I have a whole Creative Suite.
What?
I have the entire Adobe Creative Suite.
Okay. So, I went, because I use this stuff all the time, I have a whole bunch of resources. A lot of them are free. I'm trying to think, it's one of the sites, Graphic River. Anyway, I'm gonna send Becky an email with links if you're able to, if you have software and you understand like how to use it, there's all kind of things out there. Because when I did this Hope, I didn't have any font this thick, so there's a whole bunch of font sites. Some of them are free. There's only a few free font sites as a designer that I would send you to, because a lot of them are, they want you to download stuff that I don't think you should download. So there's a couple font sites, so I wanted to know if you guys know how to load fonts on your machine. I'll write out instructions on downloading fonts and loading them onto your machines for both Windows and Mac.
Interesting.
Okay.
Because you can do a lot of fun stuff if you go in and get some of those free fonts are really fun. And you could do that. Okay, that's another thing, and other people brought in samples of things, which I'm real excited about, but for some reason, my friends and family like to give me, our adult coloring books. And I used them in my classes, to give my students ideas. So there's all kind of really cool things. So if you don't know what to do, just go get yourself an adult coloring book. So,
You know, it's interesting. If a loved one, like my wife, was to take something like this, she could send it to our son, and he has the ability to buy colored pencils, and he could color the stuff in himself.
these are some shamrocks that I did, and I did a watercolor background like we did. Then I did the ink, but then I did more watercolor on top of it to get those shapes in there. But you could do that with colored pencils too.
Is the shamrock freehand?
Not really. I did it in pencil first, and I did probably all of these 2 or 3 times to get them like the way I wanted them. Kind of work it out. I'm a real big believer in repetition. Every time you repeat something when you're in art, you do it so much better. I even have my kids and my adults do exercises where they're repeating stuff. They'll go home and not touch a pencil, and they'll come back and it's like this big breakthrough. They're just doing it like they've been doing it all their life.
Is it kind of muscle memory kind of thing?
It's really
almost?
amazing. So if you don't like something, redo it. It's really worth the investment. Something that I started that I didn't finish. I started a freehand. I was doing my husband's name. So I just freehand the letters, and then I'm gonna ink it. But that's something you could do. You could do their name. You could do, at Christmas time, you could do Merry Christmas and send them out. So just, I call these inspiration pieces.
I know you probably said earlier, but what is the weight of this paper that you have
In the packet, it's 80 pound. It would be similar to a sketchbook.
Okay, all right. And this is what you suggest we work on,
Something like that.
and then copy, and then make copies of it. Yeah, okay.
But, it's like, I know we're busy, and it'd be easier, to buy cards, but, I think doing them, like we're finding out, is relaxing, so we can do some therapy and kind of forget about things, and, do something for our loved one too.
I think we can take a negative and turn it into a positive for ourselves and for our
It
loved ones.
might be a real opportunity.
Y'all good?
Thank you.
Do you feel more positive?
Yes,
Yes.
I do too.
yes. Like we have got tools now to work with,
Yeah.
instead of just being slapped in the face with no more greeting cards or postcards. You're like,
Yes.